All right, I got Monday, November 3rd, Chickasaw County Boardroom Courthouse. I will call this meeting to convene. It is 9:03. Roll call. Suko, Slitsky, Brightbach, Hackman present. Carter is absent. We also have Board Secretary Sheila Shepperton with us. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda of November 3rd? We are gonna adjust a little bit of the discuss operational green light for the veterans on county properties. There is a proclamation to be read too, if that's okay with you guys.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Steve to approve the agenda with the proclamation to be read. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Travis?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake? Aye. Motion carried 4-0 with the absence of Isaac. Approve the minutes from last Monday, the 27th.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Sorry. Motion by Steve, second by Scott to approve the minutes from Monday, October 27th. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Steve?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Jake? Aye. Motion carried with the absence of Isaac. Approved minutes from Tuesday, October 28th.
So. Correct.
Motion by Scott, second by Travis to approve the minutes from Tuesday, October 28th. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Scott?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Jake? Aye. Motion carried 4-0 with the absence of Isaac. It's 9:05. Any public comment? I believe you said no.
I got one if I can.
Yes,
Just an
you do.
update since I probably won't be here next Monday. The bridge on the Caldwell Blacktop, last concrete pour is tomorrow. Guardrail is gonna get finished this week, finish dirt work, finish shouldering. Then we just gotta find a good day next week to paint, anticipating Tuesday or Wednesday. Once that is down and cured, we would open it to traffic and then likely seed, fertilize, erosion control, mulch under traffic, so. We can expect to have that bridge opened up mid to late next week, I would anticipate, weather pending, but looking like that should be on schedule. And then also the bridge 2481 flood repair project on Kenwood, south of 150th, that should be open early to middle of this week. We're just pouring some flowable underneath one of the footings today, one load of riprap left, and then pull out our ramps, get equipment out of there, so.
Should make a lot of people happy, at least in the Caldwell.
Thank you, Roman. We'll move down to discuss operational green light for the veterans on county properties along with the proclamation. So this was given to us by ISAC, I think last week. Between our public health director and our EMS director, they've been going back and forth with some emails. Decided to put on the agenda. Some of your ideas, Lisa, was?
So, some of them are, we're going to display green lights for the county buildings, in remembrance for our veterans and respect for our veterans that we have here in Chickasaw County. We would also provide some education and resources, get that out in the community, and then do the proclamation too today.
Some of the green felt paper has been donated by, I believe Joel and Lisa mentioned something, and I was gonna help the custodian tomorrow to put some paper on the two green lights out front of the courthouse. It's just sticky adhesive, or LED lights that'll give off heat. We'll take them off after the 11th, it looks like, November 4th through the 11th. There's a couple lights at public health that we could cover up with some green felt paper. I don't know what he was gonna do at EMS, but
I'm not sure what his
I think
ideas
there's a couple
were.
lights there too, but, if you guys are okay with it, no harm to fixtures, we're just gonna cover it up with some green felt paper and some tape. Lisa, would you like to read this?
Sure.
Thank you.
So this is the Operation Greenlight for Veterans proclamation. whereas the residents of Chickasaw County have great respect, admiration, and utmost gratitude for the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces, and whereas the contributions and sacrifices of those who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens, and whereas Chickasaw County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom and by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all, and whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, veterans of foreign wars, religious groups, civil services, and by functioning as county veteran service officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future. And whereas the studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life. And whereas active military service members transition from military service are at a high risk for suicide during the first years after military service. And whereas the National Association of Counties engages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Green Lights for veterans. And whereas Chickasaw County appreciates the sacrifice of our United States military personnel and believe specific recognition should be granted. Now therefore, be it resolved with designation of Operation Green Light for veterans of Chickasaw County hereby declares November 4th through 11th, 2025 as a time to salute and honor the services and sacrifices of those transitioning from active service, and be it further resolved that in observance of Operation Green Light, Chickasaw County will display green lights at county service buildings, will provide education and resources, and be it further resolved that Chickasaw County encourages its citizens in patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those that made the immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying green lights in the windows of their places of business or residence from November 4th through 11th, 2025.
Thank you. Board of Supervisors, is there a motion to proclaim Operation Green Light for Veterans 2025?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Travis, to proclaim November 4th through the 11th of 2025 as Operational Green Light for Veterans of Chickasaw County. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Steve?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake? Aye. Motion is carried with the absence of Isaac. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So Dave was gonna get hold of you or Joel when that stuff comes in, so he can start putting some on tomorrow afternoon.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll do everything but the closed session, so we'll do that at the end. Discuss the Iowa State Association of Counties, ISAC contribution request of $500 for an amicus brief in the case of Kaiser or Shelby County. So this has been emailed to us, 2 weeks ago. ISAC did have a Zoom conference last Thursday, I believe, and I think the attorney and Scott was on that call. If you guys want to give us some, then they sent out an email late Friday, I believe, requesting a minimum of $500, I think. You guys have anything to say, or? We see the request sometimes from ISAC when it's a statewide issue. A little bit I know about it is they want to take it to the Supreme Court. In this case, Dave, anything else to add?
Not really, I mean, it's up to you guys. I can just add, I was on the webinar on Wednesday, and I think there's several reasons why the case from the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals was incorrectly decided, so they're asking the United States Supreme Court to take the case up. They think it has national importance because of zoning issues. We don't have zoning here. So it doesn't affect us as pertinently as it does maybe some other counties. The brief is due on the 6th, which is Wednesday, so they've already paid for it or signed up for it. It's not a matter of, hey, we want your money to see if we can do it. They're doing it regardless. I think they said in the webinar that the brief is going to be written by some attorneys or some law firm out of DC that specializes in this type of work, and they agreed to cap their fees at $25,000 for the brief. So I don't know where they find the rest of the money. I wanted to ask on the webinar, but I didn't want to be that guy. You know, what happens if you don't raise that much money? I assume they have money somewhere in some account to pay for it, and what happens if you raise more than 25,000? Where does that money go then? Are we going to get some back, or it just was very, I don't want to say last minute, but I feel like this has been out there for a while, and maybe if they would have done something 3 or 4 months ago, but maybe not. I don't know what the timing was. I guess I have the case, but I did read the case from the 8th Circuit. It was decided June 5, 2025. So they've had most of the summer, I guess, to kind of organize this, unless they just decided at the last minute they wanted to do this, because they thought it would help the Supreme Court. So, as you may or may not know, anyone listening, the United States Supreme Court does not have to take any cases on appeal. They get to pick and choose which cases they actually take and hear, and they hear very few. I think it's like less than 5% of cases presented to them. So what they're basically saying is, hey, we want the court to take this case up to look at it. And it, of course, involves the Summit pipeline or pipelines in general for CO2.
We all did get an email from Kathy Carter out of Floyd County on Thursday on behalf of an Iowa property owner. Pretty much attached the ISAC possible action for items for supervisors. They want this request by November 21st as requested by ISAC. So I don't know where you guys stand on this. That's why it's on the agenda to discuss. I think it would come out of general service under administration. If we're gonna write a check to ISAC. I think a little bit of the history too is the appeal or whatever they do with the Supreme Court, the legal work. They're gonna do it the whole state and hoping that 99 counties are represented. But again, we don't have to support, suggest the contribution to ISAC.
Do you guys make a contribution to ISAC? I mean, is there a membership due to that?
There's a
What's the membership dues, do you know? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know if they're understand.
Is it like thousands or
It's
hundreds?
2 or 3,000.
I think so.
Okay.
So, do you have any feelings of this to die, or talk about it with phone numbers next week, or do some more research?
I researched a little bit of it. There's a lot to this, depending whether or not the Supreme Court takes it up or not. I know the attorney from University County was unwilling to answer what his thoughts about winning the case if it was taken up. I also know that regardless if we pay $500 or $250 or $5 or nothing, it's gonna list all 99 counties in the state on the docket that are on, saying that the whole, every county is behind this. So I guess,
So they're kind of representing us already.
pretty much.
Yeah, the ISAC, the executive board or some board of ISAC can make a decision to go forward. So that, as you're part of the group, that's what happens. And I'll just say, so the issue that pertains to counties is these 2 counties did ordinances to try and regulate the pipeline. The question is whether their ordinances regulated safety, standards, or location. That's the issue. So they put in setback requirements, some other issues, some other items. The court basically said you cannot make an ordinance that regulates the safety standard of a pipeline because that's federal preemption. The federal government controls the safety standards of pipelines. The counties are saying we did not regulate safety standards. What we're regulating is location and other things which are legal for us to do. So it kind of pits county's power as ordinances over property owners' power, to do what they want with their property. So it's kind of like the larger issue in the state of Iowa. We have private property rights versus public use and public access.
Is there a motion? Is there a motion on the ISAC's contribution request of $500? All right, I'm not hearing anything, so we'll say it better. Let's see, could you see if Renee is available for a couple minutes on this AED?
You guys can talk about the legal fees for TIF, how that's gonna be.
Not today. Not today,
Not
I think in the future. Yep. Was she coming?
I think so.
You guys wanna do claims quick? Payroll dated last Friday, October 31st. We're gonna do claims quick, Renee, I'll get back to you. 1 second. Is there a motion to approve payroll claims dated October 31st? Motion by Travis, second by Scott to approve the payroll claims dated October 31st, 2025. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Travis. Aye. Scott.
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Jake, aye. Motion carried 4-0 with the absence of Isaac. We'll jump back up here. So it was on the agenda for safety coordinator Renee Carey. Good morning, Renee.
Good morning.
AEDs on county-owned properties. You got a second quote.
Yep, and you just stopped in and told
I
me
did.
there was
So there was
a person who wanted to bring up the fact that the AED should match the EMS, the EMA, rescue, all that. So I've already placed an email, and the response I got from Jeff was EMA rescue squad and first responders all converted to Zoll AED 3s, which are compatible with the ambulance cardiac monitors. So now I'm asking him if there's a rep, and then Joel replied and said that the changing of the pads is a whole $18.95. So it's not like it's a
Okay.
$300 deal or whatever. I would choose the most affordable option, and if the pads are not compatible, we just swap them out when we arrive on the patient side. The Zoll does make a good product. If that's an option, I'm okay with that. So we'll wait and see what the Zolls are.
perfect. Just an update. Thank you. Appreciate it. Back to claims. The amount is, no prior bills that it's all right.
Nope.
So the amount to approve today is $95,576.83. There was one claim that was deleted a couple of minutes ago in the sheriff's office. So that is the new amount, $95,576.83. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Scott, seconded by Steve to approve the amount of claims in the amount of $95,576.83. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Scott?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Jake, aye. Motion carried 4-0 with the absence of Isaac. Resolution number 11-325-49, assigning tax sale certificate to the city of Ella Vista, abating taxes and rescinding and replacing resolution from last year on 12-9-24-50. David.
So as you recall, the city of Alta Vista had a piece of property they wanted to clean up. So last November and December, we passed a new ordinance for tax sales to public entities, and then we passed this resolution 12/9/2450, which assigned the tax certificate to the city and then directed the treasurer to zero out the taxes that were due. The city had some political issues and did nothing like this for a while, for lack of a better term, and then now it's come back to a head again, and now there's momentum to do something. The problem is the process they want to take to convert their tax certificate is not the process that was anticipated. When they did this last December, they kind of changed course, which is fine. So I spent the last week or 10 days taking multiple calls and emails from city officials, and now there's the attorney down in Cedar Rapids. And this is the end solution that they've come up with, and this is what they want done. So I've offered to help, the county can help them any way we can, this is how we can help them. So now what they're asking us to do is to rescind the old resolution, pass this new resolution today, which does the exact same thing, gives a tax certificate, but does not zero out the taxes until they convert it to a tax sale deed. So that's the plan going forward. They assure me that this is what they want done, and I hope this will put the issue to rest and they can do what they gotta do with it. Matt's office downstairs is aware of everything. Matt and I talked 3 or 4 times last week, the treasurer, so we're all on board, I hope. And this will put this issue to bed and they can get clean. So I would recommend that you approve the resolution.
Yes, so with that being said, is there a motion to approve resolution 11/3/25-49?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 11/3/25-49.
Is there a second?
Craig.
Motion by Steve, second by Travis to approve resolution 11/3/25-49. A resolution assigning tax sale certificate to the city of Bella Vista, abating tax, rescinding and replacing resolution 12/9/24-50. If there's no other discussion, roll call. Steve?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake, aye. Isaac Carter will be absent, so he will not sign online. Motion is carried. Thanks, Steve.
Yep. Thank you.
Committee assignments, anyone have anything? We did get an EBS print off last week. I think Travis or myself will be calling or emailing Denise this week and seeing where we're at with the trust fund. I think it's a little bit lower than expecting, so that might be on next week's agenda to discuss putting some money in that trust fund. Or in the near future.
So no one in committee assignments.
No committee assignments. All right, last thing we got is possible closed session under Iowa Code 21.5 reference code 22.67, parentheses 50, to discuss updated stated procedure of county-owned property. This is an ongoing issue, so I request a closed session. Is there a motion to enter closed session?
Oh. Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Steve. To enter a closed session under Iowa Code 21.51K, reference Iowa Code 22.7. Roll call. Travis.
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Jake. Aye. Motion is carried 4-0 with the absence of Isaac. I don't believe there's gonna be any discussion out of this, but I think if it's okay, we'll just shut off the Zoom.
Oh, just gonna show off. All right.